end of the game who or which one of these players is going to be in the advantage. As far as income goes, GoSu is way ahead. Look at this saturation, 50 harvesters over 44. That's not a lot, and that's not a big advantage, but the mules are doing a lot. That's just a lot of harvesters. That's a lot of harvesters. Anyway, back at the production tab, we have gateways coming up and upgrades. The concussive shells are coming up finally, so those marauders are going to be even more annoying. And Terran weapons level 1, shields level 1, extended thermal lance. Finally Huck decides to get out the Colossi to deal with this massive marine ball, but sadly he's going to have to pay very much attention because marauders can easily snipe out Colossus. So we're going to see the thermal lance is on the way. Once the thermal lance is on the way, within a good micro, he will be able to do a lot of damage, but we shall see how the game plays out. The observer is keeping a close watch on the army, so Huck is aware that GoSu is moving out. What's he going to do to prepare? He's getting 2 pylons, I suppose, to warp in reinforcements. This is not a big army, but the placement of the Colossus is absolutely wonderful because GoSu will not see up here. Let's see, he will not be able to see up here while the Colossus does a lot of damage. But oh, thanks to the thermal lance isn't done yet, so the Colossus is in vision. He actually runs back. Will the Colossus fall? The Colossus falls. Will the Colossus falls. Oh, that is just sad. That is very bad for Huck. Very bad for Huck. And then the thermal lance now finishes. If the thermal lance would have been done a little earlier, this army would have been decimated by that one Colossus. Now sadly this army is in the advantage. There are not enough stalkers to deal with all of these marauders. Stim being used against, and the drugs showing their impact, just decimating these poor stalkers. Huck is in a very bad position right now because GoSu does have full map control. Let's have full vision. There we go. GoSu has full map control, has 2 fully saturated expansions. The Huck's slowly first mineral field is falling out. We have a third command center coming up for GoSu, who's probably going to secure this expansion or the high yield once his own mineral line is done. Another play from GoSu is going to be here. We have 1 Colossus, so let's see what's going to do. Nice force fields, but sadly not enough because this is a very wide angle. The marauders just come in here, going to snipe out this Colossus, and now gonna hit the sentry. No more guardian shield, and the stalkers die. Gonna start taking out the pylons. Let's look at the supply. 75 for poor Huck, while GoSu is at 117. Gonna take out the pylons, unpowering 1 warp gate. These warp gates are not in the best position. We're gonna talk about that if the game calms down. Probes are being pulled down off the mineral line, and they're doing a lot of damage, but also there are a lot of probes dying. We have a Colossus here doing a lot of damage to the marauders. Those stalkers died, so we have a Terran army still doing a lot of damage, using the stim again. Gonna take out a lot of harvesters, gonna try and take out the nexus. These poor zealots can't even get in close, but with the thermal lance, this Colossus, even with 23 health, does a lot of damage and finally holds the whole, forces the Terran to fall back. Hoi. I wanted to say that this positioning of the warp gates is not the best, simply because this is going to be a focus point of the attack for the Terran player. So any production buildings that are in this position are going to be vulnerable as they are. A lot of probes are being moved from his base because he doesn't really need them. But if we look at the income tab, we have 38 harvesters over 77. So when it comes to the economical advantage, I say that GoSu is way ahead. He actually checked the high yield for any shenanigans from Huck, but that is not the case. Poor Huck is in the economical dumps. He is over about 500 income per second behind, and once GoSu secures a 3rd expansion, that's just gonna be bad. Huck is also getting a factory with some Hellions. I don't think that this is probably just for fun. I don't think that he's actually going to use that Hellion. So we have another big battle. The stim is being used. Guardian shield up. These Vikings are here and gonna try and take out the Colossus. This hero Colossus, will it fall? The hero Colossus finally falls. The Vikings are doing a lot of damage, and these units are just falling back, hitting, just trying to stay away from the Colossi. Will this Colossus fall? I think it will. It does fall, and both the Vikings fall as well, but I think that GoSu is in a very commanding position. As you can see, when we look at the unit loss tab, he is clearly in the lead. We look at the APM, both players just APMing like crazy. Huck is at 225, GoSu is at 115, averaging over 160 for Huck, 139 for GoSu. So this is a very close game. Huck will be attacking these destructible rocks, which is a good idea to try and sneak into this base. But on the other hand, once these rocks are destroyed, the Terran has a shorter distance to travel when attacking your base. If we look at the army size, we have a 78 supply over 163 discrepancy. So clearly GoSu is in a huge advantage. Look at all these marauders here to take out a lot of those stalkers and a lot of those zealots. Only a few marines just in case they're needed, but then they're not needed against anything because marauders can deal with this. Very nice force field play, blocking off almost the entire army behind here, while the front is just decimated by the colossi. The stalkers are going to defend the colossi from these Vikings. So very nice play from Huck right there. Very nice use of force field, separating the army, decimating half of it, and decimating half of it with the colossi, and defending the colossi with the stalkers. So all Vikings are going to go down. There's that extended thermal lance doing a lot of damage. This observer is still keeping a very, very close eye. Now, a nice scan there, I suppose a very nice intuitive scan from from GoSu makes that observer fall. Now, despite the fact that Huck managed to hold that back, he is still in the disadvantage, because even if we look at the food, we still are over 165 or over 91. Huck is in the disadvantage, and once this Terran army is maxed, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. We're going to have another push here. Good idea, excuse me. Good idea to push now. Stim is being used, but the Guardian Shield is going to soak up a lot of damage, and the Colossi, with 3 Colossi, they're going to do a lot of damage to this ground army. No more medevacs for the heal. So if he takes out this disadvantage, it's cute, but very bad positioning for the Colossi. Caught out of a position they can't defend. They have to fall back, but now the Marauders is stimming here, taking out all the Colossi, and there's nothing these few Stalkers can do. Once this army falls, it is GG, and Huck actually does call the GG. Whew. Congratulations to GoSu from that great play. A few mistakes by Huck, and sadly that is the reason he lost. I gotta say that he did manage to hold off an important attack here earlier, but the positioning on the Colossus here was what pretty much cost him the game. It was very hard to push. He needed to push. It was all in, do or die, and sadly sometimes you die. Thank you for watching. This was an incredible game to watch, an incredible game to cast, and congratulations to GoSu, fellow Terran player, proving that Terran dominance is still out there despite being nerfed in the last patch. See you guys next episode.